The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone to the regular meeting. Okay. Roll call, Diane.
Mr. Douglas?
Here.
Mr. Barber? Here. Mr. Irwin?
Here.
Mr. McDonald?
Okay, we also have Diane, our town clerk. We have Matt, our attorney. We have Bob, our code officer. We have Mike, our highway superintendent. We have Courtney, water and sewer superintendent. We have Dave, our document officer. We have Jim, our court judge. And then we have Pete Keening from the legislator. We have Pam Barber, secretary to the board. And we have our Gazette, John Ryan. Okay, that's being said, we need approval of the minutes of the town board regular meeting December 27th, 2018.
I'll make it.
Made the motion. I'll second by Mel. Any discussion? Yeah, we'll get them, Diane, thank you again. If not, all in favor? Aye. No, you're good with it? Yes. All four ayes. Then I need a motion and a second for the regular board meeting of December 31st, 2018.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Rick. Second by Jim. Any discussion? Quick and easy. All in favor? Aye. All four ayes. Okay. Number 5, I need a motion discussion to accept the reports of all departments. Water, sewer, Belcourt, highway, town clerk, dock control officer, youth department we don't have, so I won't include it in here yet. So youth department, we don't have it, so we're not gonna approve it until we get it. Code zoning, supervisor report, court report, website, JCO, and banking report. I need a motion and a second to accept all except for the youth.
I'll make that motion.
Mel made the motion.
I'll second.
Rick, second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good to go. Okay, number 6, community inputs. John Ryan signed up.
I was just wondering if there are any more developments on the Washington Street legal issue.
What I know so far is that Bill's back in town, I believe, is what I was told, and that they would like to establish a meeting sometime in the near future, like shortly, like real shortly, and that's all I know about it.
Okay. Did Peter Gibbs evaluate the situation?
Yes, he did.
What do you think of it?
Have you given it to anyone yet since we got it?
Email correspondence that I thought we were still kind of like hush hush. We weren't supposed to discuss it with anybody yet, so I have not told anyone.
Okay.
I dispensed it to Mike, obviously,
Okay.
Mike Farrell, but I have not.
I have that one.
Okay. Has it gone to Bill or anybody yet by email?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so basically it's public.
Yeah.
If it went to them,
Yeah,
so.
that's fine. Through Dean Latchway, his representative.
So Dean Lasway does have it, the developer has it, and so
Yes, sir.
more or less it's gone public if it went to that as well.
Mhm.
Yes. So there is a letter, John, from them that has went to the developer from Peter Gibbs' office.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if anybody had a reaction to the article in the paper on the zombie homes today, about that thing on the county level. It's probably early to have a reaction, but
Yeah, that's a meeting we went to, me, Ricky, and Mel went to a meeting on Wednesday of last week, was it?
Yep.
Wednesday of last week, we went to the county meeting. I talked to Kimberly Davis, believe it or not, down in Saratoga area on Saturday. I seen her down there at a Kiwanis thing. What it is, John, is they want to take 0.25%. I'm sure that I don't get the paper, so I'm sure I said what they discussed down there. They want to take 0.25% of the taxes we receive from the county per year for the zombie properties and stuff like that for the first 2 years. After that, it's 0.50, and it amounts to about, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, I have a paper official, it's about $3,700, if I'm correct, or $3,500 the first 2 years each year, and after the third year on, it goes to $6,700?
67.
Yeah, it said
6,700.
67 the paper.
Yeah, 6,700 after that. That's gonna be for this board to decide if it's done per town. Yeah, the paper's right there that Rick has, that we had down at the county. So some of the board's gonna have to discuss eventually, coming up here shortly, if we think it's a good deal or not a good deal. How it was discussed at that meeting that night is every 5 to 7 years roughly, you might get one house done, and you guys correct me if I say something that's not too much in line. But every 5 to 7 years, you might get one house done. So basically, it's money going into a kitty. We would establish, I think it was around $35 to $200, if it all depends on how many years it goes, to get one house done. So the only problem that I see with it is after the third year, it's 0.5. So if your tax cap is 0.8, there's 0.5 of some of the budget right there. And I know it ain't the whole budget and all the revenue coming in, but it's 0.5 is a good chunk. But it's something this board's gonna have to discuss in the near future, like right off, probably within a month.
Okay.
And it's done by town, and there's a couple other towns I've talked to since that meeting, and they've discussed other ways of doing it, maybe they're on their own, but it doesn't give you the benefits of this guy from Albany, his firm that comes in and they advertise it. They might be able to get grants for each town, but then it goes to the county legislator, which P is here. It goes to the county legislator, and they choose by the severity of the property. So it goes to the county, so it'd be a board from the county, and they even talked about maybe having boards of supervisors part of it, but not firmed that up yet. So, but it's early stages of it, and that's what that's about.
Because we have a fair share of zombie homes in town, or bordering on it at least.
Yeah, we have at least 2 right now, but, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, John?
Nope.
Thank you. Number 7, okay, discussion, motion, acceptance of Matthew Hauser's resignation. Courtney came to us last week, to most of us, or, to me at least, and I have a letter from Matt Hauser that he is going to take another job within the town. Well, it doesn't say that, but we know where he's going. So I know some of us talked to him, some of us, try to reach out to him to see if he would, reconsider anything. I know you did, Rick, so I need a motion and a second to accept the resignation of Matt Hauser, effective January 18th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Motion and a second. Rick made the motion. Now second.
What was the feedback you got?
He's just, he's gonna go to work for his uncle, and he wants to do something different.
Yeah.
So he's going to be running their digester for the big farm. Basically, same kind of job he's got, Monday through Friday. He's got some perks for the job that I don't blame him for doing it, so.
Just working with a different kind of food.
Yeah. There ain't much we can do, I mean, we're gonna be down, and unfortunately, we're gonna be down another man on top of the other one we're already down. And then unfortunately, Mike, when he retires next year, we're gonna be really hurting, so we're gonna have to really sit down and discuss, really sit down and discuss about trying to get somebody. It's not easy because they gotta be licensed, and Courtney can tell you, he's talked around, and you're not gonna get somebody, I'm gonna say it out loud, you're not gonna get somebody for 14, 15 bucks an hour with all the license that's required for that. So it's something we gotta really consider down the road.
Yeah, I mean, can we set up a workshop or something, so, I mean, discuss salary options before I put this out there, if we're gonna try to get another licensed operator, the chance is gonna be rare.
You're gonna be
Getting
very
somebody
rare.
already licensed, but there's no way you're gonna get them for what our starting pay is.
Well, we schedule that workshop, and you've got some other issues you want to work
And
on.
this is, there's some other stuff with the license incentives and.
Yep.
but Once Mike leaves, I'm gonna be the last certified operator for both the wastewater plants. And we're required to have a chief operator and an assistant.
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
7 days a week, you're supposed to have a licensed
So that
operator.
means Courtney for 2019 has no vacation.
And I don't think Mike's gonna be here much longer.
No, we
You won't
know
get any
that's
day,
coming.
I've asked, but
Yeah, we know that's
Is there anybody
coming.
on your staff now you can get licensed?
you gotta send them to school, and the two guys I have right now really can't take the time away. If we hire somebody new that doesn't have a license, it's gonna take a year to get them to their 2A. I gotta send them to class, but then they have to have a year experience at the plant before they can test out.
And the thing is, we know how hard it is to get somebody, because Dan Mora 3 months ago was calling around, trying to get anyone to borrow. He couldn't even get someone to borrow and pay them extra. So we know how hard this is gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, some of us get calls contacted about moonlighting on evenings in places that need water operators.
Yeah.
A lot of trailer parks and senior places that have disinfection, need water operators come in, do chlorine checks. And a lot of these trailer parks now that put in these bigger sewer systems in, they need operators on record. They're not easy to come by.
Yeah, Courtney and I have talked, and he had said too, there's people that are operating, that have taken the test and haven't passed the
Yeah,
test.
wastewater side can be tough.
It's hard to pass.
Okay, so why don't we establish that workshop? Do you guys want to do it before the next meeting, or do you want to do it on a Wednesday? Or do you do it before? So what do you think, Courtney?
Make sure we have the 2 liaisons to that department on hand.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, everyone will be here because it'll be a regular meeting night. So let's go, we want to go, how long do you think?
I can make any night.
So we have on the 28th, or before our next regular meeting, the workshop before the meeting. How long do you think it's going to take roughly? About 45 minutes? So, or half an hour? 45. Okay, let's go half an hour. So let's set up a workshop for January 28th before our next meeting, 6:30. I need a motion and a second for that. Monday the
I'll make
28th
that
at
motion.
6:30. Mel made the motion? Yep.
Second.
Mel made the motion. Rick, second that motion to establish that meeting for the 28th at 6:30 for a water and sewer discussion. All in favor? Aye. Now, all in favor to accept Matt's resignation? All in favor? Aye.
Question,
Sure.
statement. Could we drop a letter thanking him, appreciation for the service to the town?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yep, absolutely. And like you said, it's not that he dislikes the job, it's just he's in a situation of he can go to work for his uncle, and then there's a lot of perks with his living, housing, and stuff like that to go through with that job, so that's what it amounts to. Okay, number 8, discussion motion. This one will be for you, Bob, zoning map update.
So I drafted a letter on behalf of the planning board that they asked to the town board addressing the zoning map change for the map that I showed for what amounts to 8 parcels. They would like to see go from the commercial zoning district to the neighborhood commercial zoning district. As spoke to Matt, our attorney, to make sure that we're following the correct procedure that's drawn out in the zoning law. And we are. And Matt used a good word, he calls it codify. Is that the word you used?
Codified.
Codify.
You can say it both ways.
Okay. So basically what's in place there now is quite a bit of multiple family housing. So that's what the planning board feels to spur some development in that area would change the zoning district from the commercial to neighborhood commercial. And in following the amendment procedure in the zoning law, the planning board took the action, they initiated the amendment. They would, I guess we're all the way to the number 4, correct, Matt, on that?
Yes.
Where we're gonna have a town board by resolution, shall fix the time and date of a public hearing. If anyone wants to know any more, I think, probably look at, I'm gonna work with Glenn Cutter to see if I can get a bigger map made, maybe a better map made, but I think I just penciled that in. And I included the parcels and the owners of the parcels with that. But I think it's pretty clear, but I think I can get Glenn to work with me to get a bigger map made.
Does that change the square footing when we change the rezone that? Does that change the square footing requirement?
It does, Mel, in the sense that for multiple family dwellings, the square footage is less per unit, yes. Yeah. So, under neighborhood commercial, the minimum lot area and square footage is excuse me, minimum area dwelling and square footage is 4,000, when it's class 1, when it's town water and town sewer, it's 4,000. And then the minimum lot area and square footage is 10,000 square feet. So in other words, so each dwelling, you have to have 4,000 square feet.
And that currently is how much?
Let's see. Currently it is 20,000 square feet in minimum lot size. And as far as multiple family dwellings, you have to go,
500 or something.
yeah, well, then it comes all the way back to, good question.
But we can't-
Actually, it's crazy, it's not allowed in that zoning district, that's why, if we look at our land use schedule, for multiple family dwellings in the commercial district, it's not allowed. So each one of the development you see on Davy Drive, those multiple family dwellings, they each had to get as a variance application, and then site plan approval.
So we basically have
So-
already been doing this already, but rather
Right.
than variances on every
Right.
individual.
They just, the planning board
We're just
feels,
kind of putting into practice what's already going on there. So every time
That's
somebody
right.
wants to come in and conform with what's already there, they don't need a variance. Just
and that word codify or codify is,
either way.
fits what we're looking at. I mean, the multifamily dwelling is already present there, so the planning board feels it just makes sense to,
Saves a lot of headache.
Yeah, so we'll have to send this down to the county planning board. They'll have to get us their recommendation on this.
the 239N, we'll have to go with that.
So my thought would be to schedule a public hearing for our second meeting in February, so we have time to do that, send a letter out to all the residents, even a 500-foot letter.
Do we have to do the 500 foot in that?
I think 500 feet from every.
Because is that only,
It does say it in there.
okay,
500 feet right here.
but I thought it says,
500 feet. of the property.
That's it, no, that's it.
no, I don't think it has to go in.
Park, I think, 500.
We would say that we're not in the state park, we're not near another
That's
county
right,
boundary.
so it should not have to go, the only thing is, we have to follow the 239N.
Yeah, so let's get the county there, because I'm not sure when their next meeting is. So if
Okay.
we do the end of February, we're good, and then you and I can talk about seeker ahead of time, so that's
Okay.
ready for the town board
All
on
right.
the 25th.
Okay.
Your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite. Just makes me warm and fuzzy
So all we
inside.
need tonight, I guess, is a resolution to have a public hearing on the 25th before the regular board meeting at 6.
It's gotta be published 10 days prior.
I'll make that motion.
6:45, February 25th. Mel made the motion.
All second.
Rick, second.
Just get something out of the county, like this week if you can.
Yeah, for sure.
And that would be for a public hearing, February 25th at 6:45 before the regular meeting. And in the meantime, like Matt said and Bob, we would get the stuff down to the county to get that done before that meeting. All in favor? Aye. All 4 ayes. It's passed. For the public hearing. Moving right along. Resolution discussion, purchase of the 2020 Freightliner plow truck. I need a motion and a second for this truck.
I'll make it.
Douglas, make a motion.
I'll second.
No, second. And resolution, then we can have discussion if we need.
Resolution awarding bid to RR Charlie Boy Incorporated. Whereas the town board has received certain bids in response to its request, including bid number T18120018 for same in connection with the purchase of a vehicle for highway department. And whereas the town board in consultation with the highway superintendent found that the bid of RR Charlie Boy Incorporated was the lowest bidder and the one that most closely met the bid specifications. Now therefore be it resolved that the bid of RR Charlie Boy Incorporated for 2020 Freightliner of $206,700 and no cents is hereby accepted, and the town supervisor and highway superintendent are hereby authorized to execute any further documentation necessary to facilitate and consummate the purchase for a price not to exceed this amount, and it is further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Discussions?
Anything changed on that, Mike?
No, and that was New York State OGS bid, mini bid. That was a state contract for us, so
How big a
that's
box?
what came in. It is a truck that we had planned on, and I'll get in, we get the other business, the other stuff. It's set up for straight salt for the village run. It has a stainless box because of the salt. The idea is to keep the roads a little better, save them a little overtime. That was the theory. I was hoping to test it for 2 years, and if it worked, then maybe do the next truck. But after the accident on the 4th, I'm gonna have to have a backup plan. So, but I'll get into more of that
Later.
other business. But this, we're going to be our third Freightliner. We're happy with the truck. We've had mostly minor trouble, which is the diesel exhaust because they keep changing in computers. The last truck we got, it's got 4 or 5 computers in it. That's just the way it is. You can't work on it. It's unfortunately.
What kind of, the only reason I'm bringing this up is, again, more, we just spent 6 months buying one with this brand. And they spent about another 4 months after that dealing with the warranty, what they were going to purchase for warranty, because there's, I think, a 90-day grace period from delivery of the truck, they had to buy the extended warranty.
No, I can wait till right up, I think it's a 2-year warranty,
Okay.
right to the
Right off the
end.
bat. Okay.
And, the last 2 I bought, this will be, I bought 2 since I've been here, this will be the 3rd.
Okay.
I usually just take that, because I don't wanna pay it out of the budget, I just pay it out of my parts budget.
Okay.
When it goes.
That's probably strictly an engine.
No, it depends what you want, we usually get everything other than the warranty to cover the switch, because there's no sense spending $400 or $500 for warranty for a $10 switch. It's mostly the transmission, the rear end, front end, and the engine. And then now a big part of it is the diesel exhaust system. So that's all good. We usually get that, the major components. And one thing I will say with Freightliner, their warranty has been anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 less than any other truck. I just think they're selling more once they came into the area.
They've stood behind it on a couple of
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah. And it's like anything else, I'm sure you buy enough, you're gonna get a bad apple.
Okay.
Any other discussion? This is some of that's budgeted, obviously. Okay, if not, roll call.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. All 4 yeses. Okay. Number 10, resolution discussion, revised, again. We got a couple of these again tonight. It's like, anytime there's anything changed in these things, we have to redo them again and again and again, so it gets redundant of this. But number 10, revised Valcor engineering planning grant resolution. I need a motion and a second for the revised one. Again.
Make it.
Okay, Jim Douglas made the motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mel. Diane, for the 3rd time, I think this is, on this one.
Resolution designating authorized representative, authorizing local share expenditure and secret determination for engineering planning grant Valcourt sewer project to be partially funded through EFC. Whereas the New York State Environment Facility Corporation has awarded the town of Peru a 2018 engineering planning grant through the New York Clean Water State Revolving Fund Program in the amount of $30,000. And whereas EFC requires that the town designate a representative to sign all documents related to the project, and whereas the town is required to provide a minimum of 20% of total grant amount as a local match to meet the program requirements under the engineering planning grant program, whereas 6 NYCRR section 617.5, Title 6 of the New York Code of Rules and Regulations under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker, provided that certain action identified in subdivision C of that section are not subject to environmental review under the environmental conservation law. And whereas the proposed budget is an engineering study for the purposes of identifying preliminary design criteria for improvements of the town's Valcourt wastewater treatment plant. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute documents with the NYS Environmental Facilities Corporation and any and all other contracts, documents, and instruments necessary to bring about the project and to fulfill the town of Peru's obligations under an engineering planning agreement, and therefore be it further resolved that the town of Peru authorizes and appropriates a minimum 20% local match of $6,000 as required by the engineering planning grant program for the Valcourt wastewater treatment plant study project. The town supervisor may increase this local match through the use of in-kind services without further approval from the town board, and therefore be it further resolved that the town of Peru hereby determines that the proposed engineering planning grant project is a type 2 action in accordance with 6 NYCRR section 617.5C 24, which constitutes the engineering studies, surveys, subsurface investigations, and soil studies that do not commit the agency to undertake, fund, or approve in type 1 or unlisted action and not subject to review under 6 NYCRR part 617. Resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Any discussion?
Courtney, that's everything we talked about before, you've got the 6,000 match.
Yep.
The only thing that's changed was the NYCRR Part 617. Those numbers changed and another one had to be done.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay, next one, same thing, oh no, actually, I'm sorry. Number 11, sewer collection discussion only. We're gonna have this on every meeting. If there's any updates, we have it until the sewer collection project starts. Number 11, any updates, Courtney, on the sewer collection project?
No update.
No update? Okay. Well, like I said, this will be on every meeting, just to have out there, just for it ain't like a shocker to anyone when it starts. Number 12, back to the resolution discussion, a revised one again on the bond resolution for the water, or not the water, for the sewer collection project. Only thing that changed on this from the last time, the only thing was a dollar amount, right, Pam? The only thing that's changed was a dollar amount. Do we know what the exact dollar amount was before to this? Just for, that's how we have to read, because I don't want Diane to read 7 pages of this.
I think it was 3 point, no, I lied. I think it was 4.03 million, and that's 46,184,18.
Million now. Yeah, oh, it's right there. Actually, right there. So the only thing that changed was the dollar amount from the last one we approved, I think was the second revised one. This is the third or fourth revised one, was a dollar amount. The max estimated cost of $4,618,418. That's the new total amount. The max new total.
Mac, could you read that number again?
The max estimated cost now is $4,618,418. That's the new max total that we will not exceed. And then we do have that 20% matching grant up to $1 million.
So they jumped it up 600 grand.
Yes, 500 and something. Yeah.
Any explanation for that?
Is there an explanation for me of exactly what, the reason why?
My understanding, the projections,
Of the cost of
well,
everything?
talking this year was 4.6
Maybe we
million.
had.
And originally when it started back in 2013 or
2013
14, we were 4
started.
million, but when they figured spend 5 years later, so I don't know.
Okay, so that first number, the low number, is quite a ways back.
Yeah, I think they just had us do that bond resolution, remember, a little prematurely before they looked at the numbers. I don't think any of the engineering or any of the specs changed. I think they just got more realistic numbers that came in according to the bond council.
And obviously with all the tariffs and all the different stupid things we keep getting added on.
Yeah,
I believe that this is probably,
Easements and the rest of it's gonna change that number again.
The other thing was going down the middle of Elm Street, too.
Yep,
He said it
we
was
knew.
gonna be a little more expensive.
oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, more expensive now, but then they thought long run cheaper repairs and everything else, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Benefit is pay for it now with the bond and then.
Yep. So basically, that's where we're at. That's the only change on this whole thing was the total amount. So, any more discussion? If not, roll call. Please do roll call.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay, all 4 yeses. We're down to already other business. Number 13, other business. Rick. Jim.
Good.
Diane.
Tax money's coming in real well. We are up to date of $825,000 as of 4:05 tonight. So, I was pretty happy about that.
A lot of deposits.
New hours working out pretty well for a lot of people.
I think they're working out perfect. I mean, 4 to 6 on Monday nights, the last 2 Monday nights, they're a bust.
But you don't know, I mean, it's the
But you
first
don't
time
know.
ever, so, you know, word of mouth and, you know, people getting out there, you know.
but somebody came in at 3 o'clock this afternoon and, you know, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I was here, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but the telltale for the hours is gonna be that Saturday.
Yep.
That's gonna be the telltale, because people have read the back of them, because someone called about a marriage license today. And they said, oh, you're only there till 2. I said, I'm actually here until 6, you know. So people are reading it, so that's a plus.
Yeah, be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah. I'm keeping track too of how many people come in from such and such a time, and
Yeah.
I've got a chart
Better
going.
understand.
So then we'll know for next year on what works,
Absolutely.
so. But it's going well.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Matt?
Nothing.
Mel?
Nope.
And we can come back to you if you guys have something. Bob?
Just one brief thing. We're getting the plotter worked on. We have to change the tracking belt. And wrong part was ordered, so we're hopefully get that going. So we can print the larger batch.
What's the latest, do I dare ask, on the vehicle?
I sent him more papers today.
Pam?
Papers have to be mailed into Dearborn, Michigan, and I have to do an ACH or a federal wire to them with the money. And they said after they get the paperwork, it's gonna be at least 3-4 days. So the paperwork will go back out tomorrow. And so it should be about a week, I'm guessing.
So nothing's changed since Friday. You know that.
No, I sent more papers today to mail.
I'm putting 3 gallons of gas in the Jeep, just mention it there, so that's all. Don't want to give you the take you got.
Can't go any faster than Ford Motor.
Learning experience. Learning experience.
Well, Ford, we've never done lease, municipal lease with Ford, and Riley Ford has never done one either, so their expectancy in hours were.
Anything else, Paul? Anything else?
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike, I really don't want to go to you, but I'm gonna.
No, I'll go. Obviously, you heard, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I believe it was Friday, the 4th. I had check roads early in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock. As been usual this year, the top 3 elevation runs at Beazville Road, run the Patton Run, and the Allen Hill Upper End River Road. I needed 3 trucks out. We got a rotational shift. I called them in for 4 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, I'll say the name. Tyler Jarvis had the Patton Road Run, which is a notorious hill. Started up, got almost to the top. As he got to the top, hit glare ice. Truck was going this way, was supposed to go this way, but it was coming down backwards. Nothing he did wrong. The only thing he probably could have did is stop to the bottom, lock the rear duals in, to lock it in. There's no guarantee that would have helped, but it wouldn't have hurt. The wheels started to chatter, and of course, when that happens, you slide backwards, it's point blank. I've been down that hill backwards myself, it's panic mode. Tried to save it, but the truck was loaded. Swung the front end around. When it did, the weight of the sand flipped the truck on its side, skidded down the ways. Thank God it stopped in the middle of the road, because if it had kept going, there's a 30-foot bank there probably with trees. It probably would have kept the cabin, and it probably wouldn't. I can talk about this one a lot easier than the excavator because he called me directly, so I knew he was shook the hell up. But anyway, but he wasn't hurt other than his feelings, and I'm sure he was worried about his job and everything, but he did absolutely nothing wrong. There's been, myself included, at least 6 or 7 of us have come down that hill backwards. It's just a bad hill, and you know, you'll talk to somebody that doesn't know about this, but you can't come down that hill when it's like that.
Yeah, Michelle Timmons posted too. Robbie had the same thing.
And I kind of blame myself because 9 out of 10 times when I'm checking roads, I go down that hill. For whatever reason, I went to the Peasville Run. I knew that needed, so I stopped at Patton, went up and over to Patton, and I always, 90% of the time, go down over that big hill. Because I'm going over downhill, point blank. For whatever reason, I knew the Patton Road needed it. I still think I was sticking. I turned left and went down Minix Road. And then across Calkins and up, so. But the road had changed, because I did go up the lower end of Barney Downs on the way back, or on the way. And the roads were fine. I was cruising right along. So, but being in this position for enough, I noticed, and just before daylight, the temperature will drop, and that's what happened. The water come across that road, it's got nowhere to go. It's down, point blank. And it's very steep, and I think it froze. You couldn't even walk on it, that's how bad it changed. And even Barney Downs, the lower end and the flat end, it got like that. And that's how much it changed within a half an hour, or an hour, from me calling him. Tyler had about a little over a year under his belt, but he had done that run 6 times. And I had set him up that run the week before, and it was worse than that. In my eyes, because I spun with my pickup. So, I just don't know, it was just the right conditions, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'd like to thank Jimmy Rott, because he come with 2 tow trucks, and to get where he had to back down that too. And all he did, point blank, he was praying to God, he aimed for the center of that truck. If he lost it, he was gonna run into it. It was on its side, so. He got the thing up, and I will thank Mel, because I know you made some comments after the comments we got on the excavator. The last time, we didn't get any of that this time. It was, we've known smart aleck remarks, so it was all positive, not positive, that's probably not the right word for the situation. But, my main concern isn't the truck. Tyler wasn't hurt, told him his job's not in jeopardy, just wanted him, it's happened. Like I said, it's happened at least 6 times that I know of. And there's no easy answer to that hill. The buses go down it, so we gotta go up it. So, we got the truck uprighted. Jimmy let it sit for half an hour and checked the fluid. Took a while, but we got it running. We drove it down there, it wasn't shifting right. I went down to Jimmy's, took some more pictures. My initial thought, the truck's not that bad, it can be fixed. And if you look at it quick, that's what it looks like. Then I met the adjuster last week. The truck's not that good. I think they're gonna total it the way the adjuster got it, because what happens, it's a 2003, a box is gone, it's twisted. I was hoping to take that truck, that box that I just bought it 5 years ago, and transfer it to another truck, because I got a box that's gone. In the meantime, the adjuster's looking at it, that box twisted, you can take 2 fingers where that box is supposed to sit, it's off a couple inches. So he's thinking it's twisted the frame, and being a municipal truck, he says, I don't think the weight you carry, because you're so heavy, they're gonna want that, and the money to fix it. The box is just under 47, for a round number, I'll use 47. The plow gear was like 11. We wouldn't need everything, but it's shoved where that wing post is, that mounts to the frame for the rear of the wing, it pushed that right to that far from the fuel tank. The big center hub or hoist for the box is pushed over, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches from the center. The muffler pushed the cabin, the windshield was broke. Of course, Tyler, he tried to kick out the flashlight. There's lights in every truck, but it come out of its holder. He had no idea if he was on his roof or on his side. He had no idea. So he was trying to get out, and he did step on the shifter to get out. That might unhook something for the shifter. But long story short, I think the damage is going to be more than the truck is worth. I talked to Jim Douglas about it. I talked to Mel about it. Talked to Brandy about it. Talked to Jimmy Langley at length about it today. The adjuster can't say 100% sure it's going to be totaled. He doesn't have that final say. But the dollars and cents, and after I talked to Jimmy, of course Jimmy's been in insurance business, he said the more likely. If that truck was going to like a farmer, like they said, that's going to keep it off-road, not on the road, it wouldn't be such a liability. They probably would just tell us to fix it. But then it comes down to money. So I started making some calls today, because I'll meet with Ricky and Mel before I meet with the whole board and decide what I want to do. Point blank, I don't like the idea of buying 2 trucks in the same year, new ones. I'm not so sure we're gonna not have that choice. Tried to I spent 5 hours or so today in the computer looking, making some phone calls. They're not there. What's available is single axle city trucks with just a front plow, no wing, no setup. So I think what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm not gonna promise that's what I'm gonna do, but I'll kind of see what Rick and Mel want to do, and I'm kind of waiting to see what the number is for the insurance. That'll probably dictate which way we should go. The other thing with buying a used truck, it's going to be used to get by. All Sable's got a truck. If we break down, we can use it, which is a big deal. We break it, we'll fix it. if we have to, right now, the truck I was gonna get rid of, is now the main line truck until at least we get the new one. We just gotta get by winter because that truck sits, because it's just set up with a permanent sander. So if we can get by the winter, it's been a tough winter so far, one of the deals, so. I did talk to a couple of the plow dealers today. The only thing, if we do decide, I will warn you, I want to make a decision, I'm hoping by next meeting. I hate to rush it, but if we decide to go with a new truck, if it's not ordered within a month, we will not have that till spring of 2021, because that's how far out they are. But it is what it is. I don't like the idea of going that way, but our hands may be tied. I will sit down with Pam. I know there was money rolled over and things, if we could make it work, but I'm still gonna, for what it takes me on the computer, just see if I can find the truck that's 4 or 5 years old, but usually they don't, they keep them longer than that. Everything I've found is about the age of what we're replacing, so.
You get someone else's problems half the time.
Yeah, and, yeah, you know, what you get, that's, if I could find a truck that's Clinton County or Essex County, because I know them guys, I would trust them. But when you start going down, that's the thing, so. But I got some calls out, we'll see where it goes. I'm hoping, I hear from the insurance, I was hoping before tonight. Obviously I did, then I leave and sit down with Ricky and Mel, you know, one morning or afternoon, whatever, or night, whatever's convenient for them, and kind of pick each other's brain and see what their feelings are before I come to the full board.
Now, Mike, does it make, and obviously, you know this better than anyone, is there any other way, I mean, I know that like 6th or 7th time this happened, I mean, Robbie Timmons, that happened too, Michelle put on Facebook on one of the comments. Is there any way of, I mean, I know we have to go up it because obviously you don't go down clear ice, but going up, is there any way of getting a pickup truck up there safer, putting stuff down before he goes up?
The trouble is with that pickup sander, you got buses coming over it, and it doesn't put the sand down.
Well, what about going up it first though with that, and then going up it after?
So the trouble is, I don't know if it'll make it. That's you could,
because you don't want a bus coming down like that, and
No.
you don't want that coming back down then either, because I mean, like you said, when me and the state trooper walked up the hill, it was glare on.
that I looked at and I talked about it before I repaved it. And I know it's been talked about for years. It used to go the other way down Robert Crossway.
Used to
Made
be
it
worse.
Yeah.
And that's even worse. This is wicked, and I looked at filling, but the problem with filling, because of how high that is, you gotta go out, and now you're into the watershed area. And then to get out where you need to be, to reach that height at a safe, grade, you're gonna have to take property.
Or what about, I mean, obviously, you know better than me, like, just throwing out things out. What about going up, if we know, I mean, we don't know when the weather's gonna change like that, but what about putting maybe a lot more extra sand a night before? Or does that make any sense? I don't know. I'm just
I checked the roads at night, there was nothing there
There's
that night.
nothing, it melted.
I went right up there.
You and I walked up there.
I know,
There
yeah.
wasn't a half an inch of snow.
I know, that's the sad part, is that me and Rick walked up, and then I walked up with the state trooper before that, like you said, there wasn't this, but
We
when
had
you got to
gotten
the
a
top,
little rain.
it was glare ice.
And the problem is, if you get rain, you want the snow under the rain.
Yeah.
When you get it the opposite way to snow, it's just ignorant. It's a dangerous hill, there's not an easy hill, I certainly would love to adjust it. You're talking some money, even if
No, it's fun.
we wanted to do it.
I mean, that hill has a long history, and one suggestion would be, when we've got a new guy going out there, I know we've been up it a number of times, maybe somebody ought to jump in the truck with him, make sure that's getting locked in before we go up, and double check it with somebody in the cab with.
Well, I guarantee you'll never do that again.
RJ is gonna be possibly doing that next, right?
What's that?
RJ might be turned loose on that too.
RJ's been up it, be honest with you, but he's been on it in more favorable indoor daylight hours. And that's another thing is, you don't see that ice at night, but you can during the day.
No, we
The
didn't see it
sun's
until
out,
it
you
started
kind
getting
of see
daylight.
that
We
glare.
went off it.
Obviously, some of it's inexperience, but I just don't think there was, it could have been me in that truck, and I think the same thing would have happened. It just, when it swung in front and around, there's no stopping because of the weight. I got lucky, when I come down and I only had a rear sander, I got my gear up enough to get the one set of duals and one front tire to the shoulder, because I knew there was some sand there. It was old sand, but it helped me, but I spun around. But I didn't go over, but I was point blank lucky. I couldn't move, I couldn't go either way. And I'm sitting there a little after 3 in the morning and hoping, praying not a car comes over that hill, because there's no stopping if they do. Because that's all it would have took was to hit me sideways and it would have flopped me.
And I've seen comments where snowbanks saved the other ones from.
Yeah, and there was no snowbanks.
And
No, we had done that now.
But, any chance, something like the state does, and brine ahead of time, if you had a truck and rig set up for that?
What's that now?
Put brine down ahead of time?
We don't have a vine.
No, but I mean, it could be, you could rig up the truck if you had to. It's just,
The only ones I know that even would have that would be the state.
but you could, I mean, you could put a hydraulic pump in a 100-gallon tank in the back of the truck.
Yeah, you could, it's expensive. I looked at that, putting a system, it's expensive. In the brine, it's really expensive.
It cost it.
Yeah.
I just have trucks.
Like, there's nothing available like at Fort Drum or any of those places?
No, they don't get,
Hey, do we have, I'm not familiar with this road, and I apologize, but do we have signs up, dangerous, icy conditions, slow down, do we have anything? We're talking about it now as a town, a very dangerous road, it sounds like dangerous conditions. We need to.
I'd be lying if I told the trucks don't have it.
That truck-
Anything I've ordered, have it.
And that truck didn't have it.
Yeah, you know, that one I'm not sure. Because that had the Beasley run, that didn't have the hills. If, I want to say it didn't have, but it could have.
I don't believe, I talked to Tyler, I don't think I have it. It's 2003.
Just stay in touch with us, speak about that, we find out what you don't.
And of course, we're supposed to get a little bit of snow. Possibly Wednesday, Friday, big one Sunday. maybe,
Well, I
so
thought my most is where it's
let's make sure we got a
Sign.
sign.
It's just the way that rotation will work, it was,
Yeah, oh yeah.
because the newer guys. If I do something different, I know what's gonna happen, I'm gonna get a letter. It's a common theme.
Okay.
Happiness from you.
Anything else, Mike?
No, that's enough.
Well, make sure we get signed, it's like Matt said, because of, we're talking about a dangerous road now.
And it could have been there at one time, but I don't know if that, they got taken out in the flood. I don't remember seeing any there, but
Well, regardless, if we don't have any made, get some made fast, or whoever get them the quickest. And even if we have to
I
put
can
them in
get it
buckets.
within, less than a week, so.
As soon as possible. But talk, do you want to come to school, or do you want to talk to the school about seeing if there's any way of rerouting if they've got weather in the morning?
Well, like if Ricky said, if they're dropping at that last house, there's no way they're gonna turn around, they'll never make the grade.
Robert Frost, will you?
Yeah.
Well, at least let's make them aware of it, then. At least they will be
Yeah, let's
notified.
let the district know we're aware of
Oh, I let them know.
recent, after that accident, you want to
Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay, so they're aware. Okay.
they know it's a bad hill. See, the other driver that was up there wouldn't go down that hill. They turn around, and at Mud Pond, I think, they make the kids go up further, but this, of course, I think that's, they both runs and senior retirement and it's a different driver that.
Back in the 70s, they used to back up that before they had the front senders, used to have to back up that hill.
And you can't do that, because you're taking a chance of somebody coming over the hill.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you don't want that, you don't want that. Okay. Enough for you, Mike. Courtney?
I'm good, you tired me out.
Well, I'm not too.
Okay. Dave?
January came in with a bang. First dog bite in Peru last week, and I picked 2 up Saturday.
Rumor has you're taking little boys and puppies up there.
Taking who's?
Little boy puppies.
There's 4 of them down there I'd like to take home. They don't, one of them's only a pound 3 ounces.
Some kid touched her, his puppy is $5 off.
Yeah. You got something better to do? Learn how to run a table. Learn how to run a table saw. You're supposed to.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
your house or somebody else?
Here's that.
Good at what I do.
Yeah, he does it right. Anything else? Thank you, Dave. Pam? Jim?
No.
Pete?
I'll be very short. You're talking about the land bank. Yes, that seems like that Kimberly and the gentleman from Albany County have done a very excellent job with the presentation. And something that did surprise me, I think there must have been about 40 to 45 people from different towns throughout the county there, which is very unusual to get that many people to come to anything. And basically, that it looks like a good thing, but I think it's something that everybody needs to look at it a little more. There is 25 in place in the state at this time, and apparently there's grants for it. I don't know where all the grants are coming from. Somebody's got to pay for them at some time, but that's the same as in the court system. The new assigned counsel program, they have all kinds of grants set up for it for 5 years. Of course, we're skeptical what will happen after that, but it almost looks like there's more money than will be used in it, and that's unusual. But I don't know really where we stand on that, but it's we are going to that in the court system, which I know that the justices are not in favor of it. The county justices are. When I was in, that was several places throughout the state did do it, but at that time there was no grants. Now there's more grant money than I think that we'll be able to spend to implement the program. But it's 5 years. After that, who knows? And of course, our sales tax has stayed up, so that makes everything financially, as far as the county is concerned, in good shape, and the business is good. And the airport, we're getting majority of the flights to Washington are either full or nearly full, which is good. So, but if we're able to get some more flights, that would be very nice. And I have one other thing that I think is very important. I had a gentleman call me about a month ago, and that he wanted to know if there was something that could be done in the town of Peru in honor of Joe Kelly, to name something after him. And it just happened, usually my mind doesn't think too quickly when we come up with the courthouse, but that would be nice. And I talked to Judge Kirby and Brandy about it, and also if you folks approve of it, there's also an attorney who would do whatever legal work was needed to be done pro bono and stuff. So there would be no expense to it really. I think that it would be good, and I know Jim, you must have spoke to Larry about that also.
Yeah.
And,
They need to say, talk about naming the court after.
yeah, I think that, of course, your attorney knows the procedure, what's got to be done, but it's really more or less just pass a resolution, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, and I'll be happy to work with whoever the attorneys you're talking about to get this done. If the town wants to without charge, that's a good thing to do.
So then I will get in touch with his family and tell them that it will be done in whenever, and that request came shortly before he passed away, and it's certainly Joe has been a good man for the community, and I think he's been here about 65 years, just about, and has been active in everything with the school board. And he also was town attorney here for a few years.
Mr. King, would you do me a favor for the board and provide the board for the next meeting, if you can, a little biography and history of Mr. Kelly, and then we can formally look at a resolution at that meeting with that information, so we can talk about for the public why we're doing this and pass a formal resolution potentially at that meeting. But as much of that biographical information as you know or could find out,
for the board ahead of time, I think would make that a little more formal and probably get that better product for us.
You want his whole resume, of course.
Whatever you can get us that you think's important would be.
And of course, Joe was a World War II Navy veteran. Spent time on the Pacific Ocean, among other things, and that's a popular item today. Okay, very good, thank you. I will, does anybody have any questions on anything?
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, to myself, other business. Got a thing from the court in the mail, and I also got a thing from Jim and Larry. They need an audit done for the court system. Rick and Jim are liaisons this year for the court system. Rick was gonna do it, but he doesn't get done until 12, so Jim's gonna do it Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. And then Rick would follow up and do Diane's audit next, so it'll be Rick's first one, but he can look at what Jim does for the audit, so we're gonna do the audit Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock. Jim, sound good? Okay, Jim Douglas will be over there to do the audit of the court system. That's that letter that we got, that we do it every year.
Yeah.
Other business, also got a letter, you all have it in your package. Elmore's SPCA, they're looking at this dangerous dog kind of thing with Ag and Market. This is just a letter, I mean, my own opinion, this is something that's, I don't see happening with 7 towns are gonna give them $15,000 to build room and that kind of stuff for this kind of thing. But there's a suggestion in there, it's just suggesting that each town willing to invest $15,000 to make this project a reality. That's just a letter in there. So that's that about Elmer's SPC to take care of our, our problem, but that's a steep amount for 7 towns to do, in my view. The other thing is I got recommendations from the zoning board of appeals to recommend a letter to put Sean Lucas from December, from January 1st, 2019, expired term until December 31st, 2024, the 5-year term. It's a recommendation letter from the zoning board of appeals to put Sean Lucas back on. He's already on there. Let's put him on for 5 more years. His term expired this year, and they want to extend it from this year, 2019, to December 31st, 2024. So I need a motion and a second for Sean Lucas. Jim Douglas made the motion. Second by Mel, or not Mel, Ricky. Ricky, any discussion?
Sean does a nice job.
He does a great job. I've been to many of the meetings and he does a good job. Last one was probably his toughest.
I would say.
Yep. It was a packed crowd and he made a hard decision and, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay, I got one more. It's a planning board recommendation letter. It's for Mark Hamilton. Mark Hamilton's already on the board. This one's a 7-year term on the planning board to begin January 1st of this year to expire December 31st, 2025. 7-year term. I need a motion and a second for Mark Hamilton.
I'll make that motion.
Bill made the motion. Second by Jim Douglas. Then again, Mark's been on the board. He does a good job. He's there every meeting. I think I've only seen one meeting he wasn't there that I've been attending. So, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so that carries. That leads me to, we're gonna have number,
Just to let everybody know, the other appointments by the ZBA and the planning board were covered by the organizational meeting. So that can be put in minutes also.
Okay, number 14, public comments on agenda items only. Anyone? Okay, I do have one more thing for discussion, I'm sorry. It's been out there. Courtney called me up, oh God, 3 weeks ago, I think it was, a walking trail. It's out there. John had it on the Gazette, I had it on Facebook. There hasn't been anything done since we put it out there. I think obviously some people have seen that was out there, and people that have seen it probably talk to their kids or whatever. So if anyone sees or hears or anything, there is a couple groups of, it's a group of 2 or 3 that, you know, we're pretty sure, but we still haven't caught them doing anything else. But if you see anything, hear anything, make a phone call, call the state troopers, whatever. We did do a report that night, me and Courtney did. That same night that we did that report with the state troopers down there after dark, 2 more, was it 2 more or 3 more signs? 2 more on the trail and 1 regular sign, I think it was a road sign, came up missing that night. So ever since then, we haven't seen anything since. The only sign that's up is my sign, which is kind of weird, it's Earth, but, and it ain't like they're looking in the top left-hand corner and seeing that I sponsored it, because it's probably writing this big, but it's just weird that that's the only sign up, so. I know.
We have a suspect.
Don't worry, I made sure BCN.
But yeah, it's just a shame that, you know, the kids from the school work that hard. Courtney, you know, helped get crazy to dig all the holes and all that kind of thing to have that done. They're gonna look at putting them back up probably a little bit better, but we're gonna be a little bit more, have more security, I should say, to try and prevent it. So, but, yeah, it just stinks that, you know, it's that hard to do to have it torn up. So other than that, we got number 15. We're gonna do, I need a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session to talk about possibly litigation still about the Washington Street development, and to try to see if we can establish a meeting, which we have put out in public once we have a meeting. And this executive session is to come out with no decision or anything to be taken, no actions taken. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Need a motion, Mel, Jim Douglas, second. All in favor? Aye. You, Mike, and then we are.